plugging a phone charger in, and I am jumping on. Bless you. Crystal's having a sneeze attack. What is up, Jackson? Big night tonight, man. We're a little later getting on, but lot to discuss. This may come as a surprise, but I have made a lot of people mad in the last couple hours by simply posting some national news. Everybody's so sensitive. I got some interesting numbers too about this page. A little myth busting. Should be interesting for all. Give me 1 second here. Get all my stuff pulled up, hit the share button, and we're gonna rock and roll. If you like this shirt, they're available at our Teespring store. Just search Save Jackson. I'll drop the link in the comments here in a second. What is everybody up to tonight? I guess y'all have seen by now. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, only the second female Supreme Court justice, I believe. That's correct. Has passed away. I dared suggest that it would lead to Trump appointing another SCOTUS before the election, and some of y'all got really upset. And then 10 seconds later, the news reports that Mitch McConnell is going to take a vote to the floor. Just reporting the obvious here. Republicans are going to have their feet held to the fire on this because they were voted into office for the Supreme Court as much as anything. The Senate and the president, even people who did not like Trump, voted for him because they understood the importance of the SCOTUS nominations or appointees, whatever you want to call it. So, big news there, man. Big news. Less than 50 days out from the election, and the conservatives, Republicans have a chance to potentially overturn Roe versus Wade with a conservative appointee. That is huge. And you could be like, why are we talking about that on a Save Jackson page? This is your public service announcement. This page is about more than Jackson. I will discuss more than Jackson. This is just a Jackson version of the news. So, from somebody that lives in Jackson. So look, real quick. Sponsors. Make sure you hit up Danny White and his crew, father and a son, Southern Lawn Care. Locally owned and operated. You can hit them up at 601-301-3210. That is father and a son, Southern Lawn Care. Danny White. South Jackson owned, South Jackson operated. If you live in Clinton, Byram, Florence, Pearl, Brandon, Richland, Terry, anywhere in that general vicinity, give Danny a call if you need to get your yard set up on a manicuring, cut, trimmed schedule. 601-301-3210. At this point in history, there's nothing more important than to be in great shape. You never know what could pop off. It is always good to be in good health in times of peril, stress, mental health. Working out, physical fitness is one of the best things you can do for yourself. It is a gift that legitimately keeps on giving. Physical fitness, going to the gym, blowing off some steam. Some of my worst days, I'll go to the gym, I'll jump on the treadmill, I'll lift some weights, and it eliminates all of that negativity, and I end up coming back home in a much better mood than I left it. If you need that in your life, hit up the gym at Byram. I cannot recommend these guys enough. I joined a little over 3 years ago, and it probably saved my life getting in there and getting into physical fitness and stuff. Tore my shoulder up, got away from it a little bit for the last year, but I've been back in full time for about a month now. Hit them up, thegym@byram.com. You can email them info@thegym@byram, or give them a call at 601-372-2229. That is 601-372-2229. the gym at Byram, locally owned, locally operated. They have waived the joining fee for the rest of the month. It's a $55 for a single monthly membership or $85 for a family monthly. Give them a call, set up an appointment, or just drop in and get a tour of the place. That's thegymatbyram.com or anywhere on social media at the Gym at Byram. Now that we got the business out of the way, let's jump in. We will get to the high school scoreboard. Let a few games wrap up. I know that big upset out there in Madison. Madison Central lost to Brandon, or should I say Brandon beat Madison Central. I did not get to watch the game, but I heard that Madison Central had 2 touchdowns called back and almost 200 yards in penalties. Mm-hmm. That is crazy. Crazy. But hey, that's high school football in Mississippi. We're just glad they're playing. So, with that said, give me 1 second. Let me get to my page here, get something pulled up. I got a bunch of fun stuff I want to talk. I say fun. It should be entertaining for you guys. I don't know if it's fun. I got my beautiful wife here to my left, which I guess would be your right. Crystal is joining us again tonight. I'm hogging the mic. Sorry. She says, what's new? Look, hey, y'all do me a favor. Please hit the share button. That is the most important thing that I can ask y'all to do. Please hit the share button. It goes so far. The further we push this message, the bigger of a difference we can make when the time comes to make a difference. And the time is now. Don't forget, next Friday, City Hall, Jackson City Hall, 12 p.m. noon. The Cypher Voice platform is hosting a big rally, protest, whatever you want to call it. Peaceful. There'll be people will be speaking. It is just letting the mayor and the city council know that enough is enough and it's time for change. So,
Danny White says, I bet she has the patience of a saint.
Her patience have thinned, Danny. Her patience have thinned. But she's great. She puts up with my nonsense. So, and there's a lot of it. A lot of shenanigans in my life. So we shared I made the comment about Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying and Trump getting another appointee, and I think we lost about 20 followers. But I guess it's kind of thinning the herd a little bit.
Which is fine.
Yeah, we don't do this for followers or any of that stuff. I mean, of course, the more effort and more work you put into something, the more people you want to see it, but neither here nor there. Let me see something. Where do we want to start? Well, I guess you start there. You start at RGB. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader. RBG. Mm-hmm. RBG dying. 87 years old. I mean, are we really... She's been battling. She's a multi-time cancer survivor. Multiple different kinds of cancers. Absolute trailblazer in women's rights, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But we are not, this platform, I speak for me and Crystal here because I know she does not mind what I'm about to say. We do not support, we are not pro-choice. No. At all. And we may not be perfect Christians, but we are not pro-choice. So, to get an opportunity, regardless of how we got here, to get a conservative in another conservative on the Supreme Court and potentially overturn Roe versus Wade, it is massive, and that's big. That's why we voted these conservatives into office. Let's see what they do. Big news there. Well, look, we're not going to take up the whole show with that. You guys can watch all the national news you want and get much better content concerning that than you'll get from us. But if you want to talk about it, Crystal's man in the comments, and we will gladly talk about that. Again, we're going to push the high school football stuff towards the end of the show. Let all the games wrap up. Get all the scores in. Because, frankly, it is hard. Getting all the scores together, early on in the show is like herding cats. It's basically impossible. So one of the other things that we saw today, when I say by we, I mean all of us, is the mayor of Jackson got in his feelings about the state fair. And if you've been listening to this show or watching this page, you've heard me say, if it was up to Chokwe, there would be no fair. I'm not even a fan of the fair. Don't like going. I'll sneak in on a Sunday afternoon, get something to eat, get out. You know, I don't spend all year avoiding people I don't like to go to the one place they're all going to be at the same time.
I want a Polish dog.
Crystal wants a Polish dog. So, but with all that said, with the mask required and everything, and the fact that Chokwe doesn't want it, and all the typical folks who have been mad about anything happening publicly lately or against it happening, it's motivated me to want to go to the fair this year. Mm-hmm. If I even if I have to wear a mask, I may go to the damn fair this year just to aggravate some of the locals who are upset about the fair, particularly the mayor. Because he's not upset about the fair. It's just like when Trump came to town. It's just a political posturing. Yeah. He don't care. So let's read what Chokwe had to say about the fair. This story is by Maggie Wade on WLBT, and I just want to say, I posted about Maggie. I posted a funny the other day. Somebody defended Maggie, and I loved it. We absolutely stand with Maggie Wade. Love her to death. Maggie has been a part of my life forever. I mean, WLBT has always been my channel, my news. Always leaned towards WLBT, with the exception of David Hartman at WAPT when he was there. Mm-hmm. Is he still at WAPT? You know, I don't even watch WAPT anymore, so I don't know. WAPT blocked me on Facebook from commenting, so I don't watch WAPT anymore. Plus, I've become friends with a couple of the folks that work at WLBT, so that's who we watch. But anyway, so look, let's read it. Maggie Wade, WLBT. Mayor Lumumba has worked with his coronavirus task force. I would love to know what that task force consists of. To monitor cases of COVID-19 and making decisions on executive orders. Mayor Lumumba, I certainly will extend it. Whether there may be modifications to it's another question. And I have to talk with our attorney and, just reach out to a few other experts. And that depends on the process. Excuse me. And reach out to a few other experts that we depend on in the process. With the state fair set to begin in a little over 2 weeks, Mayor Lumumba is concerned, quote, I don't fully know what our response will be, but I want all of our residents to be concerned and vigilant about is that there appears to be the making of the fair still coming to Jackson. That puts us in a uniquely dangerous position, end quote. So
we're going
to pretend the fair is
coming.
Yeah, first off, there's no pretending. The fair is coming. It is absolutely coming to town. I suggested a few months back that they may end up trying to cancel it because of COVID, and a buddy of mine that is actually over the fair now, not the agriculture commissioner, but the person right under him, reached out to me and said, absolutely not. The fair is not canceled. We are down here now getting it all figured out, and they have followed through. They've got great entertainment booked, and the fair is happening. Like it or not, it is on state fairgrounds. The city has no say-so. The fairgrounds are like an island in the middle of the city. The city has nothing to do with it.
It's a state thing.
It is a state thing. So it's like a resort status. We talk about it's like the Jackson Airport being in Rankin County. That is Jackson's property. Mm-hmm. It's a weird deal how that works. I'm not a fan of it. They should have put the airport over on the Big Black between Jackson and Vicksburg. It would have been much more serviceable there, but neither here nor there. The mayor said, continuing, that means that we're going to be inviting this hotbed of transmission of the virus right here in the center of our city. And, we likely won't have corresponding support to deal with that. We know that the fair is an economic opportunity for the state that the state relies on. Quite honestly, the city enjoys some revenue from people coming into town, shopping at our local establishments and gas stations and such, and staying at hotels. But we have to recognize that it is a unique threat. The gas stations. Okay. Look, let me just say, as a former nightclub and restaurant owner in downtown Jackson for 10 years, I know y'all hate to admit that I actually did something in Jackson. I know that chaps some of y'all's ass to have to admit that I did something in Jackson. Because you hate me having one of the biggest voices or biggest platforms in the city. But I will tell you that any business outside of those hotels immediately around the fairgrounds and people who go and set up at the fair will tell you that the fair is not an economic driver. It's a lot of out-of-town folks. They take that money and they run right back out of town. There's a few local vendors. Some good friends of mine set up all the staging and lighting and do the concerts and stuff, and I love them, and I hope they make all the money in the world. But as far as the city outside of the fairgrounds, it sucks it dry. People do not go out and eat at local restaurants. They go blow their money at the fair. They do not go to bars and nightclubs. The fair sucks all that money up. So if you asked most restaurant and bar owners off the record, if they had a vote for the fair to happen or not happen, I bet you 100% would vote to not happen. They may lie to you and tell you, oh no, we love the fair. They're our partners. They're lying. The fair is terrible for business.
Have you comment?
All right, Crystal has a comment for us.
So, Josan Darby says, brother, have you spoke about Deion Sanders coming to town to
coach JSU?
To take over the head coaching job at JSU. Could be a boost the city needs. Your thoughts? Question mark.
Josan.
Well,
Darby.
It's Joezon. So
Josan.
I'm not sure how.
I hope we're saying that right. So Josan is asking if I spoke about Deion Sanders. We did. We had a long talk about it last night, but I would much rather talk sports than politics, because that's all something that we can at least playfully disagree on. Yeah, look, Deion Sanders coming to Jacktown to coach anywhere in Mississippi, but to come to Jackson, his swagger and fame and everything he brings to the table. Look, will it translate to wins? I have no clue, but I do absolutely. That is a big get for the city, for JSU, for the SWAC. It's big for the SWAC overall. Because think about it, when Brett Favre went and coached at the not Hattiesburg, but the Oak Grove, when he was the offensive coordinator at Oak Grove that year, they won the state title that year.
It's just such a bad year for all of this to be happening.
Well, there's no football. JSU's not playing football this year. They're allegedly going to play in the spring.
But I'm just saying, it's just.
But yeah, it's huge. It has got potential to reignite that fan base. And I know a lot of the fans got upset with me yesterday when I posted about it, and I said, hopefully it translates to more people in the seats and more wins on the field. And they're like, well, we're the number one attended FBS school, and that's great. But it has fallen off a lot from what it was in the 90s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s. The stadium, a half-full vet just ain't that. 25,000 people. That's a lot of people. I get it. But not when the stadium holds 60,000. Hopefully, Deion can help sell that out. And then when they travel on the road, there's going to be, granted, I'm pretty sure that the vet is the biggest stadium in the SWAC. I can't confirm that. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But surely it's right there at it. If it ain't the biggest, it's one of the top 2 or 3. So he will be big. He will be huge for business in the SWAC.
Carrie Rose said, pretty wife a microphone so we can hear her too.
We tried to get Crystal a mic, and it just did not work. We were doing all this off an iPad with one adapter, and it will not let you run two mics at once. She's welcome to move over here and talking to the mic with me. She's giving me the Peruvian death stare. So we are working on that. All this technology is a work in progress for us. So that's why I repeat everything she says, because I go back and listen to the show. I know you guys can't hear what she's saying without a mic.
Hold on. Kathy asked, what nightclubs did you own?
Club 105. Well, Cassie asked, what nightclubs did I own? Club 105. We changed the name to Touch Nightclub around 2009, 2010. Ran it for that about as a year and a half. We had artists like Drake, Bobby Valentino, several others. I mean, Drake had the number one song in the country when we brought him to the club. He had actually been twice, but did one concert. Snoop Dogg came, did a big party. Dwight Howard, the NBA player, came and threw a party, or there was a big party he was a part of. So we did a bunch of cool stuff as Touch, and then when it was 105, I mean, that was the peak of the crunk era of Atlanta hip hop and Jackson hip hop, and we had a good time, man. We rock and rolled for years and years and years. We were right there on Capitol Street. Prior to that, we were in Byram. We had a place called Crazy 8. And then about 5 years ago, I got drugged back into it, kicking and screaming. Then we had a place called 110, which is right behind the planetarium, which eventually became South Street Live. Got out of that and just kind of retreated back into the car business to focus on that. So we had a good time for about 15 years in the club business, between some other ventures and that. So it was fun. I would never do it again. But spent over a decade of my life, watching people shake their butts and fight.
Erica James says, I remember Crazy 8.
If you remember Crazy 8, you're at least 40 years old. I don't know. I'm kidding. You're at least 36, 37. We opened it. Crazy 8 opened August 10th, 2001. So something else I wanted to talk about tonight, and I've been weary about talking about this because, frankly, I don't like it.
What?
Stalker. No, we'll get back to that. So we have a stalker, particularly myself, and it's trickled into my wife's life, my friends' lives, my sponsors' lives, and other places. We have a guy, and what he wants is, he wants me to talk about him on here and basically make him famous, and I'm not going to give him that notoriety. I'm not going to give him that notoriety. He refers to himself as a gay icon already, and so we're not going to give him any more notoriety by actually mentioning his name. We're going to let the court system handle him. But let me tell y'all, you can disagree with me. I can disagree with you. If you've ever tried to have a conversation with me, I'm pretty laid back. I will talk with any of you guys. I don't like being rude. I don't mind arguing, in a respectful way. I think most people on here will tell you that I am, you can message me and I will talk to you about anything. I try to be very fair. But when you involve my employer, my friends, the businesses that have involved themselves with us, and my damn family in your batshit crazy social media stalking and virtual stalking and everything, it's absolutely crossing a line. And there's nobody more anti-cancel culture than me. I would never do that, no matter what. But just be mindful that there are laws in place to protect people from people like yourself. I know you're watching this right now because you watched last night's show based on the comments that I got from somebody today. So I know you watched last night's show. You are not an icon of any sort. You're a shame to human beings as a whole. You're crazy. I got about 20 people who you've harassed over the last few years together, and you'll be hearing from the legal system sooner rather than later. So just be mindful of that. I still have the voicemails that you've left. I still have the screenshots that you've sent me before I blocked you. I have the screenshots from your WJTV comments, your WAPT comments, and your WLBT comments. And your comments under Big Mama Bell Bonds about me. And about my wife. So just know, and I amongst others from other people. So just know you're going to be an icon of what not to do when it comes to internet harassing folks. So
he's not just doing it by the internet.
Yeah, he's not just doing it by the internet either. But anyway, so with that said, if you have a problem with anything we're doing here, you hit the unfollow button. Nobody's making any of y'all watch this.
Or listen to it, or
listen to it. We'll look at it, look it up, any of that. And if you have such a problem with it that you feel like the unfollow isn't enough, reach out to me directly. But try to be respectful. I'll talk to you about anything. But I'm not gonna. If all you got to do is make threats and slander and all that, try to get people fired from their jobs, you're a useless piece of trash, and I have nothing for you. And we will eventually get you the recognition that you want, but it may not go as you planned. Anyway, so moving on from that, I did want to mention that because it got brought up today, and 99.9% of the time, I don't care. I won't acknowledge it. But sometimes it's just like enough. And today was one of those days. But just know that I've saved everything. And that people have sent me stuff. I probably have more friends than most of y'all think. And when they see my name being slandered, they screenshot it and they send it to me. So, anyway, moving on. The fair. Back to the fair. I've seen a lot of people really upset about Tate Reeves saying that the fair was going to go on, and he didn't see it as a social event, but more as an economic event. Now look, we're going to have to decide, especially as conservatives. I don't want to speak for the Democrat side of the party here. But as conservatives, we're going to have to decide. I know that a lot of us are pissed off at Tate Reeves. And there's plenty of reasons to be pissed off. But this fair thing can't be one of them. And I understand all my friends in the bar and nightclub industry, the live music industry, all that, feeling very hypocritical because the state is going to allow this. But we need to take the state fair as a victory as conservatives, because if it got canceled also, it's just one more thing to get canceled.
Erica James says Tate Reeves is a communist. He takes away the right of the people's voice away.
Now, look, I don't disagree with anything that they say about Tate Reeves, but we need to take this one. I'm just telling y'all, we need to take this as a victory as conservatives that the fair is happening. So it got me to thinking, though. Y'all know if you listen to the show, you know I've been on a tear this week about people bitching about COVID and all this stuff. And it started with my mask meme about burn your mask. Well, if mask works so damn good, if the mask is the end all be all, why are you worried about anybody at the fair? They're going to have, it's mask are required. It's outdoors and masks are required. Everybody should be perfectly safe. If they're not, if masks aren't working so well, then what's the point?
Why don't you look at what people were wearing around people that had Ebola? Look at that.
Crystal says, look at what people were wearing around people with Ebola.
When they were working with them.
And it was the the nuclear outfits, right? Yeah. The toxic waste suits.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the same thing they wear in the labs, in the China lab that this was created in. That's what they wore there, and it still escaped. So I just don't know how anybody thinks that a paper mask or our shirts over our faces like this or any of that is going to make a lick of difference. But teach their own. If the mask makes you feel better and you feel safer, wear it. But don't worry about what anybody else does. With that said, sorry, I just saw a funny comment from Kendrick talking about pens. Y'all be too close into Penn's line talking about the mask. That's funny. So, anyway, with that said, don't worry about what people are doing. If a mask makes you feel safe, wear it. Wear it forever. I don't care.
I don't mind wearing one for other people if out of respect. You know, if they're bothered, I don't mind wearing one.
My respect for other people is wearing off with the mask stuff when it comes to me wearing one.
Well, I don't mind, but I'm just saying. What are you doing? Okay. Well, I'm done.
Try to give her the mic and then she's done talking.
You can't do that.
So it's like I want to quit talking about the mask stuff, but people just keep saying stupid stuff, and I can't help it. It's just like, well, let me bring this up. I mean, we told y'all last night.
If you look up though, infectious airborne diseases, not blood disease, airborne, like Ebola and some other things, there is much more than a mask involved. You know, there's a suit, there's goggles, there's a mask, there's a face shield, there's...
What's all airtight?
Yes, all airtight. Boots.
With oxygen,
yes.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we sold a car a couple weeks ago to a lady that does hospice, and I mentioned that that was your former profession, was doing hospice, and she was telling me that she has to go to do in-home COVID, and just their requirements, they had to wear all that, and then they had to throw that suit away. They have a fresh suit they had to pull out for every visit.
Have you ever heard of a, trying to think of the name of it, C. diff?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, C. diff is a...
Hold on, Crystal is talking about C. diffs.
C. diff is a bad infection you get in your intestines, and it's very contagious, and I've taken care of many people with it, and anytime I went to see them, I had to put on a new suit, put stuff over my shoes, my gloves on, over my gown on, put my hair up, put my goggles on, put my mask on, and that's for C. diff. And that's a intestinal infection.
Like a viral.
Yeah, it's an infection, and most people get it from being on antibiotics. But it's a very nasty infection, and it makes you very sick, and it really is awful. But so the fact that I did all that with C. diff
for something we've never heard of outside of
right,
yeah,
and now we're talking about COVID, and I don't know. It's just. And all they're requiring is people to put little cheesecloth across their nose. You know, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Okay.
So good stuff there. You know, it's why it's...
Julie says C. diff is the worst.
So that's why I lean on, my local medical professional right here to help me out with this stuff.
I had to get in a whole suit.
Yep. So look, I've had a couple of people in here, Danny, Miss Susan, talking about the rides can't be sanitized and surface spreading. Look, absolutely, I get all of that, and that is where a little self-maintenance has to come in. Mm-hmm. You know, you would have a lot easier time if you told me, Clay, you got to wear gloves everywhere. I get the transmission of germs through. I hate gas pumps. I hate door handles. I don't like touching the refrigerator or microwave in my own house.
Flushing potties.
I have not flushed a potty with my hand in 20 years. My foot has flushed
At the house?
everywhere. My foot flushes everywhere I go. I'm not touching a toilet handle. The one at work is up too high, so it kind of gets the elbow.
Nice to know.
Yeah, you have no problem convincing me on just not touching stuff. I completely get that. But the mask stuff you're gonna have a harder time with. But if you said, hey Clay, look, rubber gloves to go anywhere in public to help flatten the curve, I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. You know, and just keep your proper distance from each other. Like, don't go up to a complete stranger and be like, you know, like all up in their face. You know what I mean? That's common sense.
Danny said, so Clay's a germaphobe.
I don't know if it's 100% germaphobe, but I'm definitely getting close to there. And Nikki, I do. I wash that elbow off. I mean, you would have a lot easier time convincing me of that. But and I don't think anybody would even argue that. Like, to me, that makes more sense. Like, I jacked a thing of rubber gloves from work. I know my bosses are probably listening to this. So I was wondering where that box of gloves went. Every Friday, I stop and fill up with gas after I go deposit my check, and I put a glove on to touch the gas pumps. I'm down with that, but it ain't COVID I'm worried about. It's just dirty people wiping their butts without washing their hands, and just everything else dirty ass people do that I'm just like, ugh, you know. But if you ever worked in the restaurant industry, bar industry, or anything like that, and you had to clean if you've ever had to clean a public bathroom, you just understand why you're like, oh, people are so nasty. I remember my mom telling me years and years ago, she's like, keep your bathroom clean. Girls don't like a dirty bathroom.
That's true.
Lies. If you've ever had to clean the women's bathroom at a nightclub, you know that women love dirty bathrooms. They just go in there and they throw everything around and just, oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. The things women do to public restrooms. It makes the men's truck stop restrooms look like 5-star kitchens. Women are terrible in bars and restaurant, nightclub restrooms, whatever. All right, so look, before I get beat up, but I'm being serious.
Wow, you're talking about.
I'm being serious. Restrooms are terrible. And so you would have a much easier time convincing me, don't touch anything. Because then you touch and you touch your face and all that. That would be a much easier argument to convince me on any of this stuff than wearing a face mask outdoors or in your car by yourself, or till you get to your seat at a restaurant. Silly. But anyway, to each their own. Sean, people wouldn't change their gloves and just go around spreading the germs from door handle to door handle. Valid point. I won't argue with you, but I would say that the difference in that would be that gloves can be dirty, but I'm probably going to peel my gloves off before I touch my face. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have dirty gloves on and touch my face. I'd be way more likely not to do that. But absolutely, agreed. So those drunk women, you can't judge them. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. All right, so Mandy Walker Bones here, somebody I respect a lot. She does her research. Mandy says, that's what I didn't understand about the specifics and the guidelines they gave us. Mandy runs a tattoo shop, House of Pain, for anybody curious here. And they were as on this as anybody. We did a video with them. And I would almost, at the time, would have called Mandy and Frankie Corona Bros. I mean, they were very, very safe and did their due diligence to protect themselves and everybody. So let me start over. I just wanted to give a little background there. Mandy says, that's what I didn't understand about the specifics and the guidelines they gave us. OSHA specifically says you have to wear all of that when your occupation requires you deal with BBP. What is BBP, Mandy? Personally, I don't think they actually care. Oh no, body piercing and stuff like that, I'm assuming. So personally, I don't think they actually care who gets it or how, as long as they can keep the money flowing. That's why they gave us instructions on how serious it is, how to protect ourselves, instead of just not saying anything. Yeah. I mean, and those are the honest conversations that I prefer having. It's like,
Mandy said blood-borne pathogen.
Yeah, so tattoos and piercings and stuff of that nature. Okay, got it. Thank you for clarifying. And I think that's the kind of conversation you need, because when I went that day to the tattoo shop and I did that video with them, it was closed.
Yeah, I know.
And they made me wear a mask in there. Yeah. Now, I did that out of respect for them. They're friends of ours and a business owner. It wouldn't matter if I knew them or not. If I don't like the mask, but I'm not going to take a chance of getting a business in trouble not wearing it. It's called being respectful. And I know I was joking a minute ago when you said, well, I'll be respectful to other people. I get it. I'll be respectful to other businesses, but maybe not so much people. You know, like.
Depends on who we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it depends. Look, every case is different. Every case is different.
I'm just pointing out the fact that I would go take care of people with C. diff and have to put on a whole hazmat suit.
Yeah.
Which is intestinal infection.
So a hazmat suit for an intestinal infection.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
I mean, it's not crazy that you have to do that.
Every nurse will tell you, we're not scared of anything else. You say C. diff, everybody's like, you don't want that.
That's crazy. So
it's awful.
So with C. diff, kind of getting off subject here a little bit, with C. diff, is that something where you have potential of getting what's it called, where you can get poop in your bloodstream and stuff? What's that?
You have awful diarrhea and it's awful. I mean, and it's contagious. It's not like...
Oh, it's contagious too.
Well, why do you think we're dressing in hazmat suits?
No, I'm not doubting that. Interesting.
But it's not just the person has diarrhea. It is the most vile diarrhea you've ever smelled in your life. And not to bring all that up, but it is awful. And they can't have a normal diet, and it's very contagious.
Yeah. So
when I go in, and a lot of people on hospice take a lot of antibiotics and a lot of that, and they get C. diff. So I have to wear this whole
production
hazmat suit to go see them, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, and the coronavirus is supposedly deadly, and they're not requiring that.
Yeah.
But we are for C. diff.
It's just more hypocrisy in the in the corona chaos. So I learned something new tonight. C. diff is very nurses and people in the health community hate C. diff. It's brought on by people who taking a lot of antibiotics. I guess it leaves your immune system open.
Your gut.
your gut stuff. So interesting. I'll have to I have diverticulitis. So I've had gut issues. So that is something that interests me, not in a good way. So I have an underlying health issue. Sean asked what we thought about Black Friday shaking out this year in the metro with all the COVID restrictions. And I'm glad you brought that up. And I just want to say, on a side note, Sean, I really appreciate you following this page, and you've been a great engager, commenter, follower of this page for a long time. And just a shout out, thank you for commenting and watching the show tonight. I think it's absolutely going to affect an area like Jackson, particularly.
When we had really a real Black Friday in Jackson.
Well, I mean, you've got your Walmarts and Targets, and 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 he said the metro area, not just Jackson.
Well,
so
I'm thinking he's thinking South Jackson.
No.
Like when you say metro area, I think
metro.
Yeah, that area.
No, he's referring to the entire vicinity.
Yeah. Well, most people do their shopping online, Sean.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of chaos at in store. There's stuff that goes on in store that doesn't go on online. So I want Crystal to tell y'all a Black Friday story that she told me one day. I do think it will be affected. We'll see. But I think this year, most stores, especially your big chains, are moving away from any Black Friday in-store specials. They want to keep it as online as possible. So normally you have that Cyber Monday. I think you'll have a legit online Cyber Friday. I mean, it's Black Friday, not Cyber Friday. Black Friday online. So I'm going to move the mic in front of Crystal here.
Well, everybody's talking about how bad C. diff is, and I would not wish it on my worst enemy.
So look, Crystal is going to tell y'all a story about her Black Friday experience at Bass Pro Shop.
Well, I can't remember the year exactly. So I went to Bass Pro to get the girls a bow, and showed up on Black Friday, of course, because it had the good sales. And showed up, and all the electricity was out. There was no electricity at all. And so I turned on my flashlight on my phone and I'm searching around, and they had the bows up there that I was looking for in a big box, which was, I mean, it literally, I'm 5 feet tall on a good day, and it was taller than my head. And
when you say bows, you mean like bow and arrow bows, or like bows you put in your hair?
Like bow and arrow bows. Okay. What do you mean? Who do you think you're talking to? Right. So, I try and get a bow or two out of this box, and I fall in it. There's no electricity. You can't pay for anything at the register with a card or anything. Everything has to be cash or whatever. But it was an absolute nightmare. So, it was awful. But
so you got thrown in a box by some bullies at Bass Pro?
Well, yeah, sorta.
Huh.
But I won't do that ever again. Like, you will never ever again get me to do anything like that.
So Crystal had a great Black Friday experience, and that would be the last of that. I have never done the Black Friday thing. It was always, so being in the nightclub business for years and years and years, Thanksgiving night was always a really big night for us. Mm-hmm. It just, people, by Thanksgiving night, people have had enough of family. And either they drag their family out with them, or they get away from their family and they go get drunk. So we always had big Thanksgiving Eve, the Wednesday night, which was for years the biggest party night of the year outside of New Year's, was they call it Friendsgiving. But then, so that kind of just went away. I don't know what happened to Friendsgiving, at least locally, but it just kind of died. And so it moved to just Thanksgiving night. Well, with all that said, we were just closing about the time people were getting in line for Black Friday. So I was out on Black Friday. And then into the car business, of course, 90% of the people in the car business wanted to open and do some kind of dumbass Black Friday special at 5 in the morning. Like people were buying cars at 5 in the morning. So never worked. So anyway, long story short, I never got to really partake in Black Friday stuff. So I just always did the Cyber Monday, or my mom would pick us up some odd and end stuff because her and my sister loved to do the Black Friday chaos. And
I'd rather die.
yeah, I was like, I don't like lines. If anybody that knows me knows that
I don't like any of it.
I don't ride rides because I'm not riding rides put together by meth heads, but I don't stand in line. I just don't do lines. I don't like going to restaurants on busy nights. Like if somebody tells me we're having a birthday party at one of these really uber popular restaurants, I don't go. Unless it's, diehard, immediate, nuclear family. I just don't go. And my family is so mad at me about it. But I'm out. I'm not going to go wait an hour for something.
So, Susan says, will Black Friday now be referred to as something else this year just because it may be offensive to someone else?
I hope not. I hope we're not to that point where you can't just call something what it's always been called. But of course, who knows? Let's hope we're not at that point.
And then read what Mandy just said.
Give me just a second. I'm trying to get back to it here. You're going to have to tell me what Mandy said. My computer's...
Well, she said,
Is this it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Easier. Mandy says, I'm totally against the fair, by the way, not just because of COVID-19, but because small businesses already have a hard time during that time of the year without all the restrictions. Now, if businesses already have to have all these restrictions, guidelines, extra expenses on top of the fair, slow down. Yeah. Look, and I totally get that. And the only reason I'm supporting the fair this year is just because it's a big public event, outdoors, public gathering. And I think that it's the kind of event that can hopefully get some people's sanity back straight and say, okay, people got together.
Just kind of feel normal.
Yeah, because I can assure you that a state-sponsored event, it doesn't matter what the COVID numbers were the week before. They will not be a spike that week. So you will never know if it was a super spreader or not, if that's even a real thing. But yeah, no, the COVID spreading part aside, it is unfair for small businesses for them to put all the restrictions on you guys. Well, which most of Mississippi is small business.
Yeah. So
it's absolutely unfair. And I 100% get that. And I 100% support that. My support of the fair this year is just simply from a liberties standpoint that it
getting back to normal.
Getting back to normal. We just did not need to cancel another major event.
Well, how can you tell people to cancel school?
Well, so Crystal asked, how can you tell people to cancel school? Well, nobody did. The governor did not cancel school. The districts independently have too much freedom, too much power. And I hope coming out of this, that is something that the legislation takes a look at and we get a statewide kind of general thing there, because Jackson had no business canceling school. Period.
You know how my position, I was just scared because I thought it wouldn't last very long.
No, I understood the option. And look, it still may end up getting canceled.
But now we're talking about the fair.
Yeah, so the fair needed to happen. Because if you cancel the fair, you gave everybody the opinion that, well, why did we do this if we cancel the fair? Why did we do this if we cancel the fair? The fair needed to happen. Just from a civil liberties, freedom, getting back to normal standpoint. I didn't like Tate saying that it was not a social gathering, because that's exactly what it is. But look, we have to pick our battles a little bit. And I just don't think the fair, if you're a conservative or a libertarian, and you're about getting back to work and freedom, use the fair as your example to throw everything else in his face, but don't be upset about the fair from that perspective.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, it's just...
No, I'm not saying you are.
It's hard to understand, though, when people are talking about not sending their kids to school, but we're talking about having a fair.
No, the same people who aren't sending their kids to school don't need to send them to the fair. That's an in-the-home thing. I know. There's going to be a bunch of pissed off Karens at the fair with their kids, blaming everybody on everything. I'm only going one night. We're going to go see Slaughter and Great White, But yeah, I mean, I get it. I get all of it.
You don't. You don't.
No, I don't get it in the sense that I understand it. I just get it. I get it in the sense that nothing surprises me.
I mean, there are literally parents that have quit their job to homeschool their children. Right?
Yeah, they shouldn't. They should not quit their jobs.
They have. But then we're talking about having a fair. So that's the problem. But there's the same problem with talking about having protests or block parties or whatever else.
Yeah. Well, look, it goes back to what I've been saying and what so many others have been saying. I mean, look, it ain't just me. That some protests are okay. Some this are okay. Some that is okay. But then, how dare you go do this? We want to go protest this, but how dare you do anything that makes money? We got to get back to normal. So anyway, with that said, let's jump into some high school football scores.
I'm about outside when you get out.
Crystal is tapping out.
I'm coming back.
She's not coming back.
I am coming back.
She says she's coming back. All right, look. So, I have found my way here again to Super Talk FM's Scoreboard. And they cover so many different schools that I didn't even know existed. I mean, nobody cares centrally located here about Calhoun City and Water Valley or Union and Newton County. Who are these schools? And why are they promoting these scores? Hold on one second. I'm almost here. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm being a little facetious. I mean, I get it. All right. Pulling up some scores here. Okay, so look. Germantown, 55. Terry, 21. Germantown is having a hell of a season, guys. Florence and Forest, 44-44 overtime. Last updated about a minute ago. Kosciuszko, 35. Choctaw County, 14. Taylorsville, 41. Mendenhall, 13. Mize, 28. St. Andrews, 21. These are finals. Final in overtime. Pearl, 21. Warren Central, 28. That is a big win for Warren Central. Big win. Richland. Man, Richland has really gotten their back off the mat and come out swinging. Richland 43, Pisgah 7, Puckett 20, Bogachita. Is there a more fun word to say than Bogachita? Bogachita. 14. So Puckett 20, Bogachita 14. Newton 33, Raymond 0. All right, here's a big one right here over there in Rankin County. Northwest Rankin 48, Ridgeland 22. Ridgeland was off to a hot start. Neshoba Central 27, Scott Central 16. Seminary 14, Raleigh 8. Natchez 34, Vicksburg 32. Sebastopol 40, McAdams 6. Morton 55, McLaurin 0. And look, the big one, Brandon 6, Madison Central 0. And don't let that score mislead you. I am hearing that this was an absolute classic of a game, a slobber knocker out there in Brandon. I don't know if you can watch the rerun on BrandonBulldogAthletics.com or how they do that, but I'm looking forward to going back and watching this game, however I have to find it. Madison St. Joseph 20, West Lincoln 16, Velma Jackson 34, Leake Central 18. Humphreys County 47, Crystal Springs 6. And here's a weird one here. Take this for what it's worth. It's showing to be halftime. Maybe there was a weather delay. Lloyd Ethel 21, Lloyd Star 6 at halftime. Let's see. Hazelhurst 30, Wesson 27. The Jackson Prep Lamar School game got canceled. Hartfield Academy 56, Simpson Academy 14. Humphrey Academy 35, Prentice Christian 16. Canton Academy 20, Tri-County Academy 15. Park Lane Academy 43, Central Hines 6. Adams Christian 43, Copiah Academy 27. Cathedral 27, Brookhaven Academy 17. Winona 41, Yazoo County 34. Jackson Academy, looks like they ended up finding a game. Jackson Academy 42, Oak Forest 7. Park Place 33, East Rankin 22. Manchester Academy 54, Tallulah 6. And the MRA Philadelphia game got canceled. There's your high school scores. Thank you, WLBT, for finally somebody giving me an easy place to read high school scores for the night. Great job, WLBT. I don't know why I ever tried to cheat on you and look at Super Talk FM. WLBT has never led me wrong. All right, look. It's 11 o'clock. We're going to jump off here. Hold on. I do want to say one thing real quick. And I know it's late. I was looking at the analytics on the Save Jackson page. And one of the things that people love to say is this page is just a bunch of people that aren't from Jackson talking bad about Jackson. So, if you manage a page, you have access to analytics. And yes, more followers on the page are not from Jackson. True enough. But do you know where the most followers of this page are from? And it's 5-1. Jackson. Of our almost 22,000 followers, 5,551 of you guys have a Jackson address, according to Facebook. The next closest is Brandon with 1,560 people. Madison, 1,210. Pearl, 973. Florence, 763. And you can figure out the rest going down from there. But 5,551 of our followers are from Jackson. The next closest city is Brandon with 1,560. Now I know you take that, chop it up into a bunch of slices, whatever. But very interesting statistic there. 61% of our fans or followers are females. 38% male. Our largest age group demographic is 35 to 44, with 20% of our fans being female and 13% of those being male. The next largest group is 25 to 34-year-olds, followed by 45 to 54-year-olds. We do not skew well in the 18 to 24-year-old crowd with about 4%. And then the 65 and plus is about the same with about 4%. But that is those are big numbers. The most important numbers that advertisers look at are 18 to 49. We do really well from 25 to 54. So those are really important demographics there. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for someone to advertise with, we do very well in the demographic with jobs. Pre-college or college age and retired, not so much. So a little interesting there. I just thought that was cool. We actually have 10 followers in the United Kingdom, 22 followers in India. We skew well in Canada with 10 followers. Nigeria 10. Those are fake accounts. Mexico 7, Germany 5, Australia 5. That's pretty cool, man. Just the access to those numbers, but 5,551 of our followers are from Jacktown. So hey, look, man, it's called Save Jackson. Of course, we have followers in Jackson, whether they admit it or not. So I can dig that. Look, the gym at Byram.com. Check them out if you're looking for a new gym home or a gym home. Great folks, locally owned, locally operated. Can't say enough good things about them. I tell you all that every night. If you need your yard cut, trimmed, manicured professionally, I mean the real deal, like Jackson JC's Yard of the Month kind of nice, hit up Danny White at Father and a Son Southern Lawn Care. Locally owned, locally operated. Y'all know that means a ton to me to be able to say locally owned, locally operated. Same thing for the gym at Byram. Hit up Danny and Father and a Son at 601-301-3210. That is 601-301-3210. Hit up the gym at Byram, the gym at Byram.com, the gym at Byram on Facebook, or give them a call at 601-372-2229. One more again, 601-372-2229, the gym at Byram. Hit us up on Facebook. I mean, not us. You know you're on Facebook here. Hit us up on YouTube at Save Jackson. Everywhere. Any social media, excluding TikTok. They're only around for 2 more days anyway. We're on every social media channel except TikTok at Save Jackson. Not TikTok.
No. We're not.
We're not on TikTok. My daughters were upstairs a minute ago doing a dance in the hallway. I was like, what are y'all doing? They're like, we're filming a TikTok video. I was like, what, the last one ever? They're like, it doesn't end till Sunday. So I just got a good kick out of that. But anyway, look, big protest next Friday. It's in front of City Hall. Follow the Cypher Voice channel for all the details there. Noon next Friday, September 25th. Big rally, big prayer, freedom rally downtown tomorrow. 10 a.m. in front of the governor's mansion and the Capitol and that whole general vicinity. A lot of pissed off patriots going to protest. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I'm one of them. Unfortunately, I'm working and can't go do it. Y'all always do these things when I have to work.
Do you ever talk about abortion at all? Or
we did.
where's not?
We did. We talked about we talked about Ginsburg. And we're just not going to take a deep dive into it.
Okay.
But, you know, that's what I told her about. We were pro-choice. She wasn't. I'm sorry. I said that backwards. We're not pro-choice. We're pro-life. Good Lord. Throwing curveballs at me at the last minute there.
Well, I'm just trying to remember everything you're wanting to talk about.
No, we did. Yep. Crystal came back in. One of the things we had talked about was, as much as you hate to see anybody pass away, and whatnot, it's absolutely political. It is going to be political no matter what you want to hear about it when it comes to Ginsburg. The people we voted into office on the national level, they have a job to do as conservatives, and we expect to get a conservative SCOTUS in there. President Trump, if he doesn't win, he was voted in office until mid-January. The people who were in the Senate were voted in office till January. They must work until January. I mean, work don't stop in November. It stops when you leave office. So Goes for whatever party is in office. Enough of this honoring old traditions of not naming and making new appointees and this, that, and the other. We voted for you for the whole term, not for you to quit working when you put your 2-week notice in. Or you got given your 2-week notice, however you want to look at it. So,
well, I don't think Trump is going anywhere.
No. I don't think Trump's going anywhere anyway, but I'm just saying theoretically, you have to work like you're going to be at work tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You know, don't.
Did you hear Biden today talking about chicken farms?
No, I haven't listened to Biden today.
It was awful.
We'll check that out. All right, well, we're winding down. We're going to sign off for the night. It's 11.
Okay.
Do you want to say bye to everybody?
Bye, everybody.
Crystal says bye, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you like this shirt, go to teespring.com. Check it out. Spend a buck or two. Be sure to share this video. We appreciate y'all. Peace out. Have a blessed night. Hell State.